Jeffrey. My mom wanted to name me Jeffrey, but my dad wanted to name me Melvin. Because he had a nephew named Melvin and he thought the name was cool. But I would have rather been called Jeffrey. As we named our son the name that I was supposed to have but couldn't have. Born September 12th, 1974 in Portland, Oregon, at the Oregon Health Sciences University. Jennifer, I don't know if many of you know Jennifer, but Jeff's sister, older sister, is the oldest of the first child of ours. She had a child at Oregon Health Sciences, and while she was there, they went through their records that were stored some 20 years earlier and brought in and gave her a copy of her little teeny baby footprints on them little cards that they make when a newborn is made, they're born. And Jeffrey was born there also, Jennifer and Jeff both. And then the other five were born at different places. Jeff, he was a great son, and I look back on my life, my early life as a father. I was 17 years old and she was 16 years old when we got married. So we were basically just children, raising children. We didn't know how to do it correctly. Not that a lot of people do, but they learned to respect their elders, and they learned to honor their father and their mother. They remember not to make false statements because they were taught that by my wife and I, according to the scripture, as Jeffrey was. And but back then in 1989 and 90, when we went to that church the first time, I found myself walking down to the altar to find forgiveness from the Lord. And so did most of my wife did, and most of our children, I think maybe all of them did too, at the same time, on the same day. And that's basically what started Jeffrey's commitment to the Lord, because when he got saved, he felt that wonderful, wonderful power of the Lord. And the Lord used him in so many different ways. Multiple times we'd hear him screaming up in the upstairs bedroom, and he was running up there and see what the matter was. And oh, I'm so glad you came up here. The devil over here, and he left when he heard you guys coming. But he could actually see the enemy sitting on a chair or on the floor or what have you in his room, trying to convince him that he had stepped on the wrong path and that he had to return to what he was doing before. But he said, no, I'm going to follow the Lord, and I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus, because Jesus gives me the power to tell you that, and you have to leave. And but it was awful scary for him in the first few years, because he's so dedicated, and the enemy is so dedicated to driving him back to the path that he was on before. I remember one time I don't know if we were heading up towards the camping spot to camp for a few days before we were done, and we left. We were heading back to the valley, heading home. And this pickup load of firewood was in a pickup. I think we come upon him and we ended up passing him. But when we passed him, Jeffrey asked just as sincerely and as innocently as he could. He was probably 6 or 7 years old, and with a very, very, very sincere heart, he said, "Dad, do you think that pickup load of firewood's going to the toothpick factory?" How do you respond to that? You know, do you say, "No, of course not, that's firewood"? No, you don't do that. You say, I told him, I said, "Well, you know, son, he sure could be going to the toothpick factory." There was another occasion Jeff and I were outside our home when we lived in Brooks, and I've heard the sound of a car crash before, and we were doing something with my pickup, and we heard, I heard the sound of a car crashing into another one. And I asked Jeff, I said, "Do you know what that was?" And he says, "No, what was it, Dad?" And I said, "That was a car crashing into another one." I told him to just stand there and be silent for a few minutes. And we did, and what I was waiting for was to listen for screams and hollers for help. And I didn't hear any, and there was, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 houses in that very area. And I told Jeff, I said, "Well, I don't hear anybody screaming. Nothing that we can do that, you know, the neighbors right there that I can't do." So we went back to what we were doing. The next day, we found out that that person, one of those persons that was in that car wreck, was my father-in-law, Kathy's dad. I wish I would have gotten a pickup and took Jeff down there to, you know, to see what happened, and we had been able to help Harold. Not that he needed any, but everybody was okay, nobody was injured, but we could at least, you know, give him a ride home or something. But we didn't hear any screams or hollering, and we had no way of knowing that it was, you know, Harold. So we just went to what we were doing and finished on up. But I thought it was pretty amazing that